When LG was created, it was filled with all this technology, spaceships, stations, going to new worlds, the freaky scorpion stinger. But everything was driven by Mother Nature, magic beings. It was a really hard contrast between the two sides. 20 years later, I still don't get how it worked. Maybe it was because of the cast. They were a complete departure from the past seasons. It forced things to be more original than the Sentai. Gingaman didn't have much when it came to development. Once you got past Red, Black, and Blue, the other characters were nothing. Then it changes gears and we got pirates. I normally hate villain changes, but this is how I want all the seasons to do it. PR was really lucky to get 4 seasons in a row of good stories. It probably was hard for people originally. LG started the trend of rotating casts. People could have given up right then and there. Luckily, they proved that PR can live on without the classic staples. Thanks goes to Lenzino7383 for the suggestion.
Until sunset.
The key with clip shows is just keeping us interested. When they're boring, it's usually because the characters are just talking about memories of past episodes, but nothing they were doing naturally would bring them up. The clearest example of that are most of the Christmas specials. It would be like if I was at work making, glass panels, then I just started talking about my lawnmower breaking down. Like, where did that come from? This was a messed up episode. Then again, deviant episodes are always like that. Leo and Damon were ambushed, tied to a pole, and left to roast. Shows you how Deviant does not care about anything. Before, he used Kai and Damon to charge up his Zord battery. Now, once the Ranger's gone, they have no way to contact the others, so they just start talking about their past missions and they try not to focus on the sun. Damon was always the best choice at these type of bonding talking episodes. I'm glad the writers kept him consistent. He didn't get that many episodes, and that was because Hayate and Gingaman didn't get either, but was given all kinds of things to do for our stuff. What ended up making me pick this one was just for the atmosphere. It was a tense episode. They didn't pull a Jungle Fury, poisoning Casey, but it was never fatal. They could have died in this one.
Memories of Mirinoi.
This was Maya's best backstory episode. I always wondered who Maya was. She's kind of a mystery. Does all her people have the power to talk to animals? She felt more special than she let on with the others. I always considered her and Chandra a part of some sort of special clan. Plus, she was chosen to be by the Sabers, and she was never intending to get one. Trakina thought Maya was the stupid one, being from a backwards planet. She could be manipulated, letting someone get close. She's far from that. It's the loss of her planet that made her vulnerable. I liked Maya because of her closeness with the team, the Galactabeasts, wanting to protect them, so no one has to go through what she did. In a way, very similar motivations to Superman. Even with this trickery episode, Maya was way better than Hikaru and Gingaman. I was really disappointed by half of that cast. We're always hard on PR characters getting shafted. A lot of them did. Levi. LG really improved on Gingaman in lots of ways. Maya really worked with these solo episodes. Seeing through people's heart is her best trait. She's almost like Ma T from Captain Planet.
Destined for Greatness.
The whole Leo yelling for his brother got old, so when Mike finally came back, I was happy that it stopped. At the same time, I was sad that the original Magna Defender died saving Terra Venture. It was great that he came back to the good side, remembering those parts of his life before Zika's death. At the time, I didn't see Gingaman, and this was the season that brought me back, so I had no idea Mike was going to become the Magna Defender. I had thought he was only going to be used for a short time, since people never counted him as a 6th Ranger. I really thought it was great that Mike got the power. It fit perfectly with his personality. Mike is that guy who's always there for you. Didn't say anything, took care of problems himself, and whenever a situation needed a leader, he just stepped in. Basically, he was Commander Sten. If Terra Venture hadn't found Mirinoi, I see Mike taking over as the colony leader in the future. It was also nice that the original Defender gave Mike his powers. He did take his body and saw Mike kind of like a tool, although I always wondered if Magna made this choice himself or did Zika push him into it, as like a thank you or as we're sorry. The only thing I had wished was Mike continue to chat with Ghost Magna, where he could have given input on monsters and fighting styles, so he could help Mike get better with the powers. Not to mention talk to Leo. They did fight and argue the most.
Green Courage.
This was a good one, but not actually for Damon. Damon was good and all in the episode. I was more happy that the ancillary characters were being used. Trakina screwed up and got the Scorpion Singer damaged, so she had to get it fixed. took High Council Rainier hostage, forcing Damon to do the repairs. I always said, use the character's basic traits in an episode, so that it doesn't get wasted. How many times did Emma get to use her camera a part of a plot? None. Because they defaulted using Aries' personality. Imagine Damon acting like Hayate in this episode. This is where I knew if the team needed a new leader, Damon could take over for Leo. Kai would be the obvious choice, but I think he would fit better as second in command, especially for Damon. Damon tends to blank out on details for things. Kai is always perfect for waiting and acting. They worked really well hand in hand. One thing I wished was Rainier had found out Damon was the Green Ranger. I wish the council in general knew who they were. It gave more places for the Rangers to get conflict, but having one of them know could have had some episodes deal with Rainier trying to protect the Rangers more often. She was the hard ass that finally opened up.
Redemption Day.
The death of Magna Defender. This was not about the lights anymore. They were so illogical on how they worked. I was more happy they turned into weapons. No more stupid. Majority of fans will agree that Magna Defender's story was one of the key things about Lost Galaxy that bumped up the quality in writing. I'm glad that they kept how the story played out from Gangman. Other times things change and the story loses that deeper meaning. The acknowledgement that the Galaxy Rangers were the better choice in gaining the lights and his sacrifice that saved Terraventure finally showed he let go. He went through hell. His son was killed, his planet was basically wiped out. Magna had good intentions with using the lights. He wanted to stop Scorpius, but would he have actually stopped there once he reached his goal? I think that's why the lights ignored him. There was no way to trust him, and also credit has to be given to Mike. I'm assuming, but don't tell me Mike didn't influence him. Maybe not directly, but Magna had to have seen his memories, what he went through, what Mike wanted out of life. Eventually, Zika and Mike's memories overcame that hatred, saving his soul, which Magna returned the favor to Mike.
The power of pink.
If it wasn't for that damn bait and switch ending Lost Galaxy did with Kendricks, I would have had rated this much higher. It loses a lot of its impact bringing Kendricks back to life. Other than that, it was a tough story. We knew Cassie for many years, but Kendricks was new. She didn't get all that much at this point of the season, so when she died, it sucked. There was a lot of things that could have been done. Some of the standard stuff, some more original. Saya didn't really get much to do, so the writers had a blank slate. I'm torn. I love that we got closure to the Psychos. We got one more story with the Space Cast, and we got Carone for the rest of the season, who went through a lot. Filling Kendricks' shoes did work out, but a character died. You're like, I lost something. It's just one of those love-hate episodes, but I can't ignore that Psycho Pink got everything done. Given a real chance, the Psycho Rangers could win out and beat the Rangers, as long as they got fleshed out and stopped being idiots, trying to one-up each other. Red and Yellow running off and trying to take out Astronema, that needed to stop. Because they know how the Rangers tick. It doesn't matter whether it was Cassie or Kendricks. Rangers have moral codes that stay the same, so they could exploit that at any time. And the only way Kendricks won was to give her own life for Cassie. Kendricks understood what a hero meant. Was it fair? No. No matter what way you looked at it, it was a no-win scenario.
Loyak's last battle.
While Memories was my favorite episode of Maya's, this was the emotional episode. I mean, both of them are very similar. Loyax was hired because he was just bored and needed a challenge. He wasn't evil in that sense, but because of wanting someone to fight, he ended up being a hired gun. No matter the outcome, whether he stayed evil or turned good, he was going to die. Maybe it was a way of atonement. That's kind of Lost Galaxy's theme. Hello, Magna Defender, Carone. I always wondered why he gravitated to Maya out of the six. I don't think he was really looking for skill. I think he wanted someone to change him, someone strong enough to convince him, see if he could walk away from evil. Who better than Maya, pure of heart, strong-willed, knows the pain of loss. It was sad that he died. He could have been useful in later episodes.
Lost Galactabeasts Part 1.
It's not just for Deviant's introduction, it's also because of the Galactabeast. It's so rare nowadays for PR to care about the Zords anymore. They've been tools and objects for most of the seasons. I don't know, I never cared for that. I prefer when they're cared about. Yeah, you gotta self-destruct them sometimes, but the Rangers just walking away? Nah, that never feels right. No one says it out loud, but Deviant enslaved living beings, brainwashed them, given pain by fighting their friends, most definitely stolen their tech so he could create new type of hybrid monsters. Even later on, all the knowledge he learned from controlling them, he used it on Kai and Damon and turned them into batteries. That struggle between the Lost Galactabeasts and the originals, that's all you had to do to make me care about them. Treat them like the cast. It really sucked when they got blown up protecting the city from the kamikaze stingwingers.
Facing the past.
Trial by fire. Corona was not going to become a ranger willingly. She was still damaged by her evil persona. She didn't think she was worthy of ever drawing that suit. I don't blame her. Her past must have been horrible. We only got to see one piece of it. Turning that guy into stone? What else did she do? I don't think I want to know. Again, I think the Quasar Sabers are alive. They have some sort of master plan to save Mirinoi. They needed a new ranger, and they saw Corona. Damaged, but had the potential. So she just needed to be pushed. It was interesting that she helped Leo unlock his battle exit power. Most of the time, Red Rangers unlock it by a personal trial. In this case, it was her trial. Although I wish the entire team got to use the armor. Either way, it was cool to see the Morphers destroyed. A lot better than how Overdrive handled that. And it even referenced Star Wars with her ghost.
Journeys in Part 2.
I really liked the twist ending of the season. Terra Ventures departed Earth to find a new world to call home, and they ended up at Mirinoi. Was it destiny? Was it fate? Did the Quasar Sabers know the future, so they set these things in motion? Who knows? I don't think Power Rangers ever topped this season finale. We've had great ones since, but not in this scale. A 5-mile huge space station crashing into a moon, kamikaze bugs that blew up most of the Zords, the 6th Ranger taken out. It didn't end. Deviant taking control of Trakina. He did win after all that crap he pulled on everyone. Vilmax being killed, and of course the one-on-one fight to the death between Leo and Bugkina. The guy who was rejected by the colony, shunned by his brother, and he was ready to die for the people. Everyone got great moments, including the Galaxy Megazord. It really got treated as a person here. It wrapped up all those loose ends, including bringing back Kendricks out of nowhere. That will always annoy me. I think this finale lived up to the standard that Countdown gave us. With Space and LG, it sealed Power Rangers' continuation for the next 15 years. Space did the bulk of the work, but LG opened us up to new casts, weaned us off history, which is not a bad thing as long as that history is honored and continued every now and again. I personally thank it myself. Without LG, I wouldn't have come back. So I owe the cast and writers a lot. There's other episodes that needed to be on the list, like Rescue Mission, Kai's Command episode, The Sleeping One. Many good LG episodes exist. What were yours? Next week, my final Power Rangers video, 10 reasons why I've enjoyed this series. If you like my content, consider leaving a like and subscribing. Due to fair use abuses from the various companies, I no longer feature footage from the various episodes. Thank you for understanding. See you in the next video.